Hello, everyone. We have a very special guest here. We have a Shai, Weiss-CEO of Virgin Atlantic. The video that's of most importance is the very first one. That breaks this entire, it's 10 minutes long. I didn't want this video to be 10 minutes. I wanted it to be brief. I wanted to show Shai what the heck is going on here with Boeing. But this title, the title that you're going to find down below is Scott Kirby, CEO, United Airlines and Passengers, warned of AOG Technics, Boeing and Airbus quality. For those of you who don't know about AOG Technics, it was an organization that were fudging documentation, not processing parts properly from what we've gathered. They said, first I hear 50 parts, then I hear 90 parts, then you read some more, it says thousands of parts migrated into these engines that are buzzing around, that some of these aircraft companies said, oh, we caught them, there were only 96 engines. Oh, we caught them, there was only 46 engines. Well, let me tell you something. I know how quality is. I was involved with aerospace, and it's very difficult sometimes once that part leaves the facility to keep up with it, to have traceability. Don't let anybody kid you. So we're going to bring in Shai. Thank you very much for coming. This video today is about Shai Weiss, CEO, Virgin Atlantic, okay, and passengers warned of AOG Technics, Boeing, and Airbus quality. You have the data down below, all of it, and as I said, the very first video will be the most important for you to watch to get the information. I suggest you have a glass of wine when you want to watch it, because you're going to see that your company is in trouble, and I don't make any bones about it. Nobody is releasing this information. Our government is trying to hide it because the FAA made Boeing an FAA regulator in 2009, and we have the proofs. Just sit down and I will show you. The first one is kind of a crazy one. It is their supplier bulletin put out in 2002 and basically relinquishes supplier duties to a certificate, an ANSI ANAB accredited ISO or AS 9100 certificate. It calls that out in the supplier bulletin. And the reason why they specify ANSI ANAB is because they sit on the boards of directors and also the board that can grant, suspend, and withdraw certification. You can't make this up, Shai. On top of it, they call this out in their supplier portal. They called it out in the bulletin. And they also sit, as I said, on the board. 3 strikes and you're out, and you can see that it has really caused an issue there. A lot of it is, it basically states this, Shai. It's a send in your certificate accredited by ANSI ANAB, AS 9100. Send in your parts, and for 22 years, we don't have to go and see the supplier if the materials are being made out of a garage or what have you. That's basically what it's telling you there. And it's disgusting. Now, to make matters even more convoluted and worse, is that in 2009, Boeing was made an FAA regulator, which means, in brief, that they didn't have to tell anybody about the MCAS system, and they didn't have to tell anybody about the new aircraft technologies because they are the FAA. That means all the CEOs that were at that time frame between 2009 and present are basically FAA administrators. There's an engineer who did a whistleblowing on the 777, 787 aircraft. Yes, he's correct on the 787 aircraft because you're going to hear it right here. FAA grants Boeing more autonomy and certification. The FAA increased the authority of Boeing's commercial airplanes division to self-certify its own aircraft. The authority extended to Boeing under this new system allows Boeing employees to perform tasks on behalf of the FAA that include oversight of testing and product standards, along with certification of aircraft technologies, that's MCAS, and new aircraft designs, that's a 787. So basically, Shai, let me just tell you what Boeing did. They, rather than grabbing that with pride, the FAA designation or the authority, they used it to cut quality corners to the bone. And that's why they have issues now. I put in my CV with them, trying to get on board, because you know something? If they don't pick me to get them straightened out in quality, they're done. And I don't make that, I'm not conceited. I know my capabilities, because their capabilities are cutting corners, getting FAA regulated, cutting corners on their suppliers. Well, on their inspection for their suppliers since 2002. And 2009, they're a regulator. The sadness is that engineer that exposed that went to the FAA and complained to the FAA about Boeing. Well, the FAA and Boeing sit on the American National Standards Institute board. And Boeing is the FAA. So complaining to the FAA is like complaining to Boeing. It's disgusting, Shai. I do this because of integrity, honesty, and the truth. And my business name is Guberman PMC. That's my last name. And always remember this: the truth will set you free, but not until it is finished with you. David Foster Wallace. And I thank you for coming.